In this triad exercise, we're told that Maris conducted a study on the effect that playing video games has on memory recall. As part of her study, she compiled the following data. We have two columns given in our frequency table. Hours teenagers spend on video games, given in intervals of 3.5, 0 to 3.5, 3.5 to 7.5. So the first one's 3.5, but then they vary after that. 3.5 to 7.5 is going to be 4. 7.5 to 11.5 is going to be 4. So the rest of them are 4 hours. We're asked, what is the best estimate for the mean number of hours spent playing video games? So first off, we have to remember yet another formula. So let's look at what that formula is. We have the summation, so the best estimate for the mean, or mu, which represents the mean, is the summation of Fm over the summation of F. And remember that F is the frequency of the interval, and M is the midpoint of the interval. So first off, since this involves the midpoints, let's look at the midpoint of each interval. Midpoints of intervals. So the first interval is 0 to 3.5. So our midpoint is going to be 1.75. 3.5 to 7.5, that's 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 3.5 plus 2 is 5.5. Similar calculation for the 7.5 to 11.5, that's going to be 9.5 for midpoint. 11.5 to 15.5, that's going to be 13.5 as our midpoint. And last but not least, 15.5 to 19.5, the midpoint is going to be 17.5. So now let's plug these into our formula. So the summation of F times N, of the frequency of the interval times the midpoint of the interval. So what's the frequency of our first interval? It's 3, and our midpoint was 1.75. Plus the frequency of our second interval is 7, and its midpoint is 5.5. The next interval, the frequency is 12, and the midpoint is 9.5. The next class interval, 7 for frequency, times the midpoint is 13.5. And then the last interval, 9, is the frequency, times the midpoint of 17.5. And now we're going to divide by the summation of F. Well, that's just the frequencies. So what's our total number of frequencies? We've got 10 plus 12 is 22, plus 7 is 29, plus 9 is 38. So the summation of our frequencies, there's 38 total number of teenagers done in this study. So we're dividing by 38. When we multiply and then find the sum, we end up with 409.75, still divided by 38, and that is approximately 10.78 hours. So the best estimate for the mean number of hours spent playing video games based on this sample of 30 students and a frequency, or 38 students, and this frequency table is 10.78 hours. You might also in the future hear this referred to as the expected value.